Very good morning, students. I hope you had a good weekend, and I do trust that you have all gone through the first unit of your first chapter, The Best Christmas Present in the World. Today, I'll just recap what you have learned from the first unit last week, and then we are going to discuss the two answers for the questions that's given in the comprehension check. Once we are done with that, we'll move on to the second unit. I'm quite sure that you're all excited to know what happens after the end part of first unit. Shall we get into the textbook now? All right, we are looking at the best Christmas present in the world by Michael Morpurgo. If you remember from last week's read, you'll recollect that the author had been to a junk shop and he finds a roll-top desk which he was waiting to buy since a long time. He sees a roll-top desk there in the shop. Though it's in a bad condition, he still decides to buy it because it was available for a cheap price. So he buys it and he thinks that he can take it to his workshop in the garage and can get it repaired. So when he takes it to his garage, he finds that the legs of the roll-top desk is not in a good shape. So he mends it. Before starting the work, he just decides to dismantle the roll-top desk. So what does he do? He starts opening the drawers one by one, and then in the last drawer, which was tightly stuck, he removes it with good force, and then he finds a black colored tin box inside that drawer. And then to his surprise, there are some words written on the top of that box. Do you remember what was written? Yes, it was written, Jim's last letter received on 25th January 1915. It also says that it should be buried with me when the time comes. So he gets very curious to know who has written this letter. What is this letter going to contain inside? He knows that it is not good manners to open and see others' things, but his curiosity just takes over his idea of being well mannered. So he just goes ahead and opens that letter and sees that it has an address on the envelope. What's the address? It was addressed to Mrs. Jim McPherson, and the address was written after that. And do you remember that the letter was dated December 26th, 1914. So December 26th is just one day after Christmas. Let's take a look at the second unit of the lesson now. Yes, I am forgetting, right? I have to discuss the two answers with you from first unit. Let's take a look at the questions. You all know the answer for the first question. What did the author find in a junk shop? So, I'm sure you all have found the answer to this. It is, the author found a very old roll-top desk which belonged to the 19th century in the junk shop. What was it made of? It was made of oak and it was in a very bad condition, but he purchases that because it was available for a very cheap price. Looking at the second question, what did he find in a secret drawer? Who do you think had put it in there? Yes, he found a black color tin box inside that drawer. And looking at the indications of what was written on that piece of paper on the tin box, we can make out that it was probably put by Jim's wife, Mrs. Jim McPherson. All right. So we just had a small look at the question and answer. When we come back to school, we'll start writing these questions and answers in your notebook. Let's proceed with Unit 2. You are looking at the second unit of the chapter, The Best Christmas Present in the World. When I read this, you'll also be able to follow along the image that you are seeing in this slide. Let me start reading now. Dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened that I must tell you about at once. We were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning, Christmas morning. It was crisp and quiet all about, As beautiful a morning as I have ever seen, as cold and frosty as a Christmas morning should be. I should like to be able to tell you that we began it. But the truth, I am ashamed to say, is that Fritz began it. Okay, children, note down this letter called Fritz. Here, Fritz is the word which names a German soldier. So I'll just read all the text and then come on with explanation of new words. I'll repeat from the same paragraph again. I should like to be able to tell you that we began it, but the truth, I'm ashamed to say, is that Fritz began it. First, someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. Then they were calling out to us from across no man's land. Happy Christmas, Tommy! Happy Christmas! When we had got over the surprise, some of us shouted back, Same to you, Fritz, same to you. I thought that would be that. We all did, but then suddenly one of them was up there in his grey greatcoat and waving a white flag. Don't shoot, lads, someone shouted, and no one did. Then there was another Fritz up on the parapet, and another. Keep your heads down, I told the men. It's a trick, but it wasn't. One of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head. It's Christmas Day, Tommy. We have schnapps. We have sausage. We meet you, yes? By this time, there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land, and not a rifle between them. Little Private Morris was the first up. Come on, boys, what are we waiting for? And there was and there was no stopping them. I was the officer. I should have stopped them there and then, I suppose, but the truth is that it never even occurred to me I should. All along their line and ours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats, meeting in the middle. And I was one of them. I was part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. I'll stop reading with this. So what you're going to do today is, children, starting from the first unit till the paragraph where I have read, you're going to mark all the new words that you have seen for the first time and then find the meaning for those words using a dictionary. You'll write down those new words and find the meaning and write the meanings alongside those words in the same notebook where you had written your first grammar assignment. Let us go on to the explanation part of these paragraphs. So the second unit started with Dear Connie. What does it suggest? It means that the soldier Jim McPherson had written a letter to his wife whose name was Connie, and he has narrated an incident of a different experience that happened in between war. Remember, in the beginning of the chapter I had told you that this chapter takes place in the backdrop of the First World War. So here Fritz and Tommy are the two words which are mentioned to represent the German soldiers and the British soldiers. In general, German soldiers are termed Fritz, F-R-I-T-Z, and the British soldiers as Tommy. So, what Jim says is, on the eve of Christmas, the day before Christmas, they were all in the war field, and early morning on the day of Christmas, it was very cold and frosty. What do you mean by frosty? Yes, the place which is covered with snow. So, he says that a person came forward and they started shouting, Happy Christmas, Tommy. And then people here on the British side, some of them also shouted back to them saying, Same to you, Fritz. And then these people were a little doubtful, saying the German soldiers have taken it as a plan for attacking the British soldiers. So he says, don't get up of your trenches. Trenches are the small hole kind of thing where the soldiers can sit down like a hideout. So he says it's better that you don't come out. But even before he could instruct them, what happened? The other soldiers, they were seeing that a man was holding a white flag while they were coming across the no man's land. Okay, white flag symbolizes peace. So whenever somebody is waving a white cloth or a white flag, it means that they are trying to come out in peace. And they saw the soldiers walking across the no man's field. No man's field is the area between two countries or the two war fields, or the area that is between border. It is neither owned by the Germans or the British in case of this story. So they just come across that place, and both the Germans and the British soldiers start meeting each other in that in the middle of that no man's land. Even before Jim could recognize and tell his subordinates not to go there, it is going to be a plan and all, they just start mingling with each other. So the Germans say, "It is Christmas Day, Tommy, we have schnapps." Okay, so when they see that the people have come by crossing the no man's land, the English thought that that was all. But to their surprise, they saw the Germans coming out and shouting that we have schnapps and sausages. We just want to meet you and celebrate. So there was a person named Morris, and then he was the first one to reply to the Germans, and he says, "Come on boys, what are we waiting for?" And then all the British soldiers just start, and then they start hugging each other. The British and the German soldiers start hugging each other, and in the middle of the war, everyone was trying to make peace, and the occasion that leads them to get into this different mood is Christmas. So on the day of Christmas, it begins with a different approach from the German soldiers towards the British soldier, and Jim has started narrating this incident in his letter. Now till this paragraph we'll stop and then continue with the next paragraph onwards in the next class. Thank you children. Read this text once and try to find out new words and their meanings. I'll see you soon with another class. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.